Good morning from the garden. It's a beautiful fall day, so it seems like a perfect moment to film our third annual winter squash review. If you're new here, welcome. This is the third year that we're filming a video about the winter squash varieties that we grew and how they performed for us, which we liked best. And I will link the previous two videos below so that you can check those out too if you want to. This year has been quite crazy weather-wise. First we had a record-breaking warm summer and record-breaking droughts. Obviously winter squash like the worms, they do not enjoy the drought as much. But then to top it off, we had a very early first frost. In our area, first frost can vary very much. The date of the first frost can really vary. Sometimes it's as late as December, but this year it was the last weekend of September and it was the earliest first frost in almost 50 years. So some overall we got a really good harvest, but some of the varieties that we grew performed better than others. So let's dive into it. We grew 11 varieties in total and only 3 of those I have grown before. Generally the kind of winter squash that I prefer are what I call one meal squash, so not the very large ones, but something around 1.5 kilos is what I consider ideal. That's about 2 to 3 pounds. And one of my gardening goals for 2018, one of my 18 gardening goals for 2018 was to do a little butternut squash trial because those are generally our favorite winter squash. I have grown I chose one variety that I grew before with great success, and that's Harrier, which is a British bred variety that was especially selected for cool, shorter summers because generally butternuts like quite warm weather. And in the previous years it has really performed well for us. Not so much this year. And I also grew another I think it's also a British variety, which is called Hunter, and it's similar to Harrier, I think. So I wanted to compare those two, but neither one has done that well. We got 6 fruits from Hunter and they were all under 1 kilo, under 2 pounds. And Harrier gave us 4 fruits in total and they were also quite small. Well, that one was 1.7 kilos, so that's quite a bit more. But in the previous years we had much better results, so I think this year it was the drought and our lack of watering to blame for that. I grew another variety, which is called Anax. I get most of my seeds from a specialized seed order company, which is called Janssen's Seeds, Janssen Zaden, and they specialize in winter squash. So they have a great selection. I will link to their website below. This is not a sponsored video, though I would not mind them sponsoring me. And I called them and asked what their experience was with the butternut squashes in our climate. And they said I should try Anax, so that's the one that I ordered, and also honey nut, which I also ordered, but that one never germinated. So I only got the chance to try Anax, and that's the one that performed the best this year. The green ones, the green fruits, they start green like that, and then gradually they turn this beautiful orange. You can see they have quite a slender neck, much more so than the Hunter or Harrier. So yeah, well, they look beautiful. I don't know how practical that is. And as all butternut squash, they have very small seed cavity, so you get a lot of flesh. We had 2 plants of Anax. One of them I planted on the compost heap, and one of them at the back of the garden, where we grew most of our winter squash through cardboard mulch. And we filmed a video about that, so if you want to check that out, I will also link that below. And as usual, the plant that we had on the compost heap performed much better. I think it gave us, let's have a look, I think 7 fruits in total. Unfortunately, 2 of those were eaten by rats. And then at the back of the garden we got 2 or 3 fruits, but they were much larger than the butternuts. They were 2 kilo and 3.2, so that's like 4, 6, 7 pounds. I have not tasted them before, but I have not really met a butternut squash that I did not like before, so I expect those to be good too and to store well as well. The next squash that I want to show you is this one. It's Anvers, and it's also like Hubbert. It's like butternut. It's Cucurbita moschata, and those are generally very sweet. The reason I grew this one is because 2 years ago I sowed something that was supposed to be a Hubbert, and it turned out to be something completely different. But we really liked the taste of that squash, so I was very curious about what it could have been, and I asked my viewers and people on Facebook for their suggestions, and one person suggested Anvers. And from the looks of it, I thought that it could be the same one, so I sowed it. It's if you're familiar with Long Island cheese, this is the miniature version of it. And I'm really happy with the results in this case. We got in total 15 fruits. So I think that's really from one plant. So I think that's a really good result. They were smaller than the seed company suggested. According to them, they should have been something like 1 to 1.5 kilos, 2 to 3 pounds. And ours were on average, I think, around 800 grams. So almost 2 pounds. But never mind, I think this is a good size. Yesterday I halved one and I baked it, and the flesh is very, very sweet. So I immediately baked our fall squash cake, our favorite one. And the thing is, if your squash is already very sweet, then you do not need to use much sweetener. So you can also see that it has this beautiful dark orange color, which gives a good color to the cake as well. So this is our snack for when we're done filming this video. The next squash I want to show you is this Delicata Squash, and it's one that I grew last year as well, but we had a bit better results last year. They were similar in size, which is smaller than they should be according to the seed company, but I do not really mind that. And we really enjoyed those throughout the winter, because they're great for roasting. When roasted, they taste almost like sweet potatoes, and they store for, I'd say, not as long as the butternuts, so about 3 to 5 months. But we only got 4. This is the total of my harvest from one plant. Again, I'm not sure this is the plant's fault. Maybe it's my fault because I did not care for it properly. So I think I will give it a chance next year as well. The next squash that we grew is this one. Probably the most beautiful one. As you can see, it's beautifully striped with orange and green, and it's called Festival, which is very fitting. I think it's a cross between acorn and Delicata squash, and it's certainly what it looks like. The shape and the stripe, the green stripes, you can see the same green stripes on the Delicata. And it was our by far our best performer. We got 25 fruits from one vine, and they're around, on average, they're 1 kilo, which is quite exactly what the plant company said. We ate one. I cut it in wedges and we roasted it in the oven. It has very good nutty taste, and I think they store about 3 to 5 months. They should keep so, but there won't be a problem. I'm sure we will finish eating those by then. The next squash is another Moschata, Cucurbita moschata, and that's Autumn Crown. Beautiful shape and beautiful color, I think. And it's also, it really performed for us well as well. I think that Moschata squashes need a lot of warmth, and for those, as long as they got adequate moisture, this was a very good year. We got 14 fruits in total. According to Thomson Morgan website, they say you should get on average 5 fruits, so that really outperformed our expectations. But the fruits were on average 1 kilo, a little over 2 pounds, which is exactly what the seed companies said. I roasted one for our street potluck on Friday, and it was polished in no time, so I think everybody liked it. Not as sweet as Anvers, so I think it's more versatile and better to use for like salty dishes as well. Not just sweet cake, but I'm sure it would be good for cake as well. Then I have two Hubbert varieties. This one, which is called Baby Green, and for some reason I have little luck growing Hubbards, which is a shame because I really like their taste. They're very good for everything, basically roasting, for soup. They have nutty flavor, but every year they are some of the worst performing squashes that we grow. I grew baby green this year, I grew baby blue last year, and before that I grew the green, the orange one, which is called Uchiki Red Curry, and which should be very good in our climate, and we never get very many fruits. We had two plants, one on the compost heap where they usually perform, where the squashes usually perform very well, and we only got two fruits, which this one and another one which is still there. And then we had one squash over there growing through the cardboard, and that one only gave us one fruit. So I don't really know what the problem is, whether I should try different varieties or I don't know, care for them otherwise better, because they got the same care as the festival, and that one gave us 25 fruits. So I don't know. If you have suggestions for me or Hubbard varieties that I should try, please let me know. Then we have the biggest squash that we grew. It's called Lakota, and it was grown by the Lakota shoe tribe. And it's a very beautiful one. By the way, this is Hubbert as well, and this one has done well for us. But the problem is, as you can see, the fruits are really large. So they violate my one meal squash policy. The reason that I did sow those is because the seed company said they should be around 2 to 3.5 kilos. So I thought, well, that's a reasonable size. But mine, I got 4 fruits in total, and they were on average 5.3 kilos, which is 12 pounds. So for a family of 4, this is without a freezer, this is not that easy to handle. I expect that they will taste well, and that they will store well as well. But I don't know, we can't really getting through 5 kilo or 6 in some cases of squash in a week is quite a lot. So maybe I will use one to make a winter squash soup for our street potluck or something, or like cut it and share with family. We'll see. But it's definitely a very beautiful one, and in terms of total harvest per plant, it has done really well for us. From giant to dwarf, these are the tiniest winter squash or pumpkins that we grew. This year I got 2 varieties. The orange one, which I grew last year as well, and it's called Gold Speck, and then the white one, which is called Baby Boo. And I think it's super nice to have both of those. They are so pretty together. It's so great for fall decorations. And I think the best kind of decor is decor that you can eat, that you don't have to store in your attic, which we don't have, by the way. And last year we had a little Thanksgiving kind of dinner with our family and my husband's family, and I filled those with wild rice and pecans and cranberries as a vegetarian dish. They looked really cute and they tasted well as well. So I'm putting that recipe in my book. Stay tuned for that. We grew those up a trellis, and because the fruits are so small and not heavy, they're very well suited to vertical growing. There was quite a difference in yield though. The orange Gold Speck gave us 7 fruits from one plant, and the Baby Boo gave us 21 fruits. So these are all the varieties that we grew this year, and I think we'll have enough to eat throughout the winter. There are already several varieties that I'm pretty sure I will want to grow next year again, but I'm already making a list of new varieties to try. So if you have one that you enjoy growing and that you think I should try as well, please let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon. Happy gardening!